You reckon? Because the original question was...
Or feminism?
Yeah, of the original question was Mandisa Mashio.
Yes.
A strong woman as she is, she's got lots of feminism drive. And at a masculine organization like EFF, people, even when she was still there, people said she's not gonna last. And well, they were proven correct. When I sat with Dr. Kanyisile,
Yes.
Litchfield Chabalala, I asked her that you are too opinionated, you are a free mind. You will not succeed in politics, especially this career politics. And even your history, a little history in politics actually shows that. And in MK is going to be worse. How are you going to find space there? Because Honaleba Ruti and stuff, and you do not conform to the Java route to organized churches. And I still say, I still insist, I don't see a woman like her, because she's a free mind. She's liberated. It's going to be difficult for her. What makes these women not survive in politics?
No, she will not survive in politics. Maybe in a civil rights organization, it's the same as going to a taxi rank, and then you want to survive there as a woman. Your path is going to be narrow. And I find it, with black feminists, they take it to the extreme. Look, within the EFF, she wasn't going to survive anyway, because Julius Malema, for me, I see Julius Malema as a King Jong-un or Nkuruzinza. So if you don't agree with him, you're out. There's little democracy in terms of that. You can see even their members, they have to wait for him to say something, then they tweet. Even Bondlozi, and then agree with his view. Jose has changed his views so many times. Julius changes his views many times, and you have to change with him. I don't know the internal dynamics, but from what is projected, it's like, Julius Malema decides, and Mandisa is opinionated. But with feminists that I've seen, even Ntsiki, I don't think she'll survive, long in the MK. Even Mandisa, they take it to the I don't know, maybe we're not ready for that, but for me, they take it to the extreme ends, and it becomes adversarial. I feel that now, as a black person, a black man, and a black woman, we need to be fighting on the same side, as opposed to, opposite ends. I mean, you can see most feminism, when they emerge, it's against a black guy. They never say anything against any nationality, even with R. Kelly, even with Bill Cosby. They are more vocal. I'm not saying those guys, they were correct, but Tiger Woods and all that. And then it becomes adversarial. For years, women, they've been kicking men, and we keep quiet. Sometimes you just say, I can kid mama. But, the kicks became stronger and stronger. And you look in other nationalities, you don't see the people who are perpetuating racism, other nationalities, perpetuating all the stereotypes, all the gender inequalities, because they've got power. Black men doesn't have power. You never see black feminism rising against those people. It is always us. You are useless. You stay at home. You stay with your mom, and not taking into account, why is it that I'm not working? Why is it that I'm not providing? Because the dynamics have changed. And you're taking the kick, and then men started to get, enough and say, what? Yeah, we've been told that we are trash. Even though it is your choices that you've made, you choose bad boys. And then the bad boys, they mess you up. And then you come, you say, all men are trash. Men started to rise and say, no, we cannot handle this anymore. And then you start to push back, which is unfortunate, because we're supposed to be fighting on the same side. But with Mandisa, she took that posture. I see her taking that posture, to be saying, you men, and then obviously when you take that posture, we're going to start defending ourselves, and saying, you don't take accountability. And at the moment, the black woman that we are dealing with is different from any other black man that we have seen in history. Our mothers, were something else, different. And right now we are dealing with a black woman who's, economically emancipated. It's a stage that, women have never found themselves, especially black women. And then this woman, unlike our mothers, doesn't give a hoot about you, But eventually it doesn't end well, because we're supposed to be working together. And we have someone who is encouraged you know, to go rogue and do nonsense without accountability. I mean, you check all the terminologies that exist. You know, I know my worth, bare minimum. Even when you're trying, you're told that, no, that's bare minimum. You cannot praise a fish for, you know, for swimming. So unappreciated. Guys, they feel good. You know what? I've got too much to lose here and I might as well, you know, kick back. So it's unfortunate that we got into that, you know. I don't think Nali Mandisa, I think we're both opinionated. She's a nice person, a lovely person. I don't think we'll get along, you know, in terms of our views, you know, because I feel that the most feminists, they don't take accountability. When you try to warn them, they tell you that you are hurt, you're controlling, you know, who hurt you, you know, all those things. And men and women are different. We view things differently. And feminists, they want to impose to men. They want to tell men what is it that is correct, not taking into account that we see the world differently. A man is looking for something else when he looks at a woman. I mean, I'm looking at a woman's past. You know, a female will look at the future. That's why most of the time they want a provider, a guy who can conquer, a guy who can protect. And I'm not looking at that. That's why men, they marry down. I can take a case here, as long as as na bad record, because right now we are physical beings. We mark territory. And we are visual beings. I don't want somebody who's going to embarrass me. I don't want somebody all the guys here in this clubhouse, because we take pride, or you know what, nobody knows her. You know, that's what
animals of conquest.
Yes, you know, and I mean, if a woman has slept with 40 guys and all that, what makes me special? Then I'm just one of the guys. So now we want that. That's why we don't forgive. When a woman is cheated, it's very difficult to forgive. If a man forgives you, you must know it's for ulterior motives. You know, guys don't just forgive. When they forgive, they become angry, they become something else. So the first thing that I'll ask my woman, did he sleep with you? You know, that's the only question that matters. But women, they'll ask emotional questions. Maybe in the past, I don't know feminists what they ask now. They'll ask, you know, what led you? You know, is in our own house, our bed, you know. So they'll ask those questions. So we are different, even during sex. Now as a guy, they'll say size don't matter. It matters to me. So feminists cannot sell me that idea, no, size does not count, you must know where the cleats lie. No, now I want to kill. I'm a killer. But even the way we describe sex, is, you know, it's like ngiyabulala ngamshaya sibalulele mfana yabo ngamshaya ngamhlikiniza ngamkama mfethu ngavuvuzela. So I want to see that, you know, like Tamaliana could like amisa step ke ngimshayile yabo ngimshapile. So that's why when you feel man, I'm not reaching there, I want to reach there, you know, kumele lutula onke undertaker kilbe mo 1 2 3 I want to see that expression, you know, I'm making an impact, not that thing where then I'm not sure whether I'm in or out. So but now they want, you know, it's soft. They describe it in a, you know, he touched me, oh, it's not. Well, now we don't want that, you know. We want our enjoyment. It's about pain. Even we're different, even our sports. I mean, you check guys who are popular, known, the type of sports that they play. It's a contact sport. Especially UFC, boxing. Those are guys who become big, you know. There are exceptions, but, you know, we are like that. So, but unfortunately, Bona, they want to sell you a car, 1940, and say, take that. You say, no, but I want a current car, which, you know, but no, this one is good. Then you say, no, I want this. But it is the buyer's market. Unfortunately, in relationships, you know, this is where guys have the advantage. Women also have the advantage somewhere else, you know. But in this one, guys, they determine, you know, whether to marry or not to marry. They know what they want. You know, they say they want clean record. That's why they'll ask a body count. Guys like us, we don't ask body count. We are old school. You can tell. You got the body count, the mileage is high. When I drive the car, I can tell because of my experience. I mean, a car with high body count and a car with low body count, they don't behave the same.
Sure.
Yeah, there's that shame, there's that thing. There are certain positions you don't do for the first time. When the person says, no, get on top for the first time, no. But those positions, they're uncomfortable, physically, emotionally for some people. There are some people you can tell, I know this one. Ah, no, man, can you switch off the light? Wait. Because this person here is so used to, yeah, then this one has been around. So the behavior is different.
Yeah.
So now we want that person who's unknown. That's why a woman can be a medical doctor with so many degrees. I don't care how much money you make. I can go for a person who's a boxer, go shop right, who's fresh from Lesotho, who knows nothing. I says, hey, now I was disappointed by one guy, that one, or I've never met a guy, or maybe I had two guys compared to Slay Queen. Yeah, we don't take pride in that.
So, the new era, I mean, whether it's in political discourse, show business, in all spheres, masculinity is taking a bad light. And I mean, the more masculine you are, the more you are rejected in lots of levels. I mean, even in corporate, masculinity is seen as something aggressive and offensive. When you started out, with modeling.
Yes.
And I mean, Nolumu strata. And the reason you converted to that, what is it? Is it because of your masculinity and dominance? Like, what is it? Like, why did you choose? Because, like, I grew up in a township. So
yes.
In my township, would often, of course, Mautedi dancing and stuff. My best friend was doing dancing, so we would kill him every time. I mean, I would invite him to the basketball courts, and we would always remind him, this is not dance, this is not cha-cha-cha one. We'll push him over. But it's just that, you are picked on when you take the soft, like, non-contact sports and stuff. And what made you have confidence to go there when most guys wouldn't want to go there?
Yeah, for me, for me, I will say this. I didn't start in the arts.
Yeah.
I started in the street. Like, most of the guys who grew up in the townships. I normally say that there's nothing that I haven't done, that a Kasi boy would do. As a Kasi boy, you try everything. You try style, you try to dress in a certain way, you try girls, you try to be a tsotsi. There's nothing. You hold, you've got guns at an early stage. I always wanted to be that guy because my role models were those guys. Kokasi, you'll see a knife fight, and you wanted to have that stature so that no one can disturb you. So I've stolen, thing is, but a car thief, I wouldn't be a car thief because I'm big on safety. So I've hijacked cars. I normally say Kosoweto, or if in South Africa, the first people to start car hijacking, it's us. It's our generation, and I'm one of the forefronts because it was easier. Those days we were hijacking white people because that culture hijacking, it was not there before 1984-85. The Tutsis that we had, they were stealing cars. But after the era of my comrade, when they were demobilizing us, ANC were not stop, making the country ungovernable. Now, Bo Oppenheimers, they've met Bo Oliver Tambo. So we went on, to steal cars, babang, we went on to hijack. And for me, it was out of necessity. I didn't have money and I was angry, So taking into account, the political history, we went into carjacking. Babang, they went to jump at the counter. So when I went into modeling, it's because I went to register for a first year. I didn't have a bursary. My first bursary, I took corner here in Pimville, a white man's car and a policeman car, hijacked, sold one, chopped another, and then got money. My mom, so now, if going to the second year, I didn't have money. So it means I must go back to the street. And then, by then I've met models such as Bo Castin Maselela. I've seen Bo Cheki, I've befriended them because we bump into them. Then they kept on saying, why don't you try modeling? Why don't you try modeling? I kept on saying, I'm in Tokyo di Chuzana. Those days, gays were dominating the modeling industry. I said, no, I can Tokyo di Chuzana. And indeed, when I first started to do modeling, sales house, wearing underwears. My friends used to tease me, but I didn't care that time because my self-esteem was a bit higher then because I had grown a bit. You know, peer pressure didn't affect me that much because I did Mr. Caltini, you're now going to Mr. SA, you know, the girls, they're screaming. Then I've never had this. But I've always been a bad boy, you know. The only time I had interaction with girls is like girls, they're coming to my hood. But they didn't call me Ike Tami. They didn't know me. You know, sometimes girls will be told, when you go that side, just say Ujolali Tami.